Hi everyone, it's Alyssa and this is Always Cinema Chic, the place that encourages you to stay in, get dressed up, and watch a movie. So today I'm going to very reluctantly do a movie review for Transformers The Last Night, and then I'll go over the Blu-ray releases for October 31st, 2017. And if you are watching this on Halloween, happy Halloween, and I hope that you're watching a really great scary movie tonight. So on to the review. You know how there are movies that you go into it and you know it's not going to be a good movie. It might even be kind of a bad movie, but you're hoping that there might be a couple of moments that will make you smile and will be somewhat entertaining. Yeah, well, no, not Transformers, not Transformers The Last Night at all. I watched this on a dare, and I think it's pretty easy for me to say I won't be talking to this person for a while because I can't believe I watched this. So Transformers The Last Night stars Mark Wahlberg, Anthony Hopkins, and Laura Haddock, and of course it's directed by Michael Bay, because who else but Michael Bay could create a monstrosity such as this? So to say I dislike this movie would be the greatest kind of understatement. I would rather, honestly, watch The Snowman on repeat for an entire day with no breaks than ever watch this movie again. I actually feel like I wasted my life. It's awful. So between all of the overly saturated colors and the camera movement where you can't quite figure out where to focus, this has everything that you would expect from a Michael Bay movie and really all of the worst qualities. To me, this kind of movie represents everything that is wrong with Hollywood. There is no attachment to characters. There is no care for the plot. There's a ton of CGI, but you don't care about any of the CGI characters. Nothing in this film works. So if you are interested in a plot, not really sure why you would be, but here it is. Optimus Prime is trying to get to his home world to meet his maker, but then he gets enchanted by his creator. Meanwhile, on Earth, there's mayhem with fighting between Autobots and Decepticons. But here is where it just lost me on every single level. It brought literature that I love into the storyline and used characters like King Arthur and Merlin as absurd plot points. They figuratively spat in my face, bastardizing everything that I hold dear. So there's even a scene where they just completely destroy Stonehenge, and that did not make me happy. So the past influences the present, and we find out that the Transformers have actually been to Earth before, and they are the reason that someone like Merlin the Magician became Merlin the Magician. They gave him the magic that he needed, and all of those stories, the Transformers are connected to them. Awesome. So Stanley Tucci played Merlin in the very beginning, and I just kept thinking, why is he playing this character? I know he was in the last movie, but why would he say yes again? And even worse than that is Anthony Hopkins. You are one of the most talented actors of all time, and you just said yes to Transformers The Last Night. Like, I understand that people need to get paid, I get that, but he was just in Westworld, which was my favorite TV show of last year, and I'm sure he got paid for that. I don't understand why he would just, have this performance, phone it in. Clearly he was phoning it in, but I don't blame him for that. But I'm not sure why he would accept something like this. The script, he's constantly being called, oh, that old man or that crazy stupid old man by Mark Wahlberg. This is Hannibal Lecter. He will eat you, and you just keep calling him this stupid old man. It's horrifying. So I'll quickly state the plethora of negatives to this film. The camera does not stop moving, and for no symbolic reason. There is no character development. The acting by some is downright atrocious. The writing is borderline offensive, and it feels like you're watching a bad action movie that was made in the late 90s or early 2000s. I was ready for characters to start saying lines like, "I've got to get me one of these" throughout the entire movie, because that's the level where the writing is at. And the pacing is just awful. It drags on forever at 2.5 hours, but it's even worse at the very end of the movie, where you're just watching robots fighting each other for a pretty decent amount of time. And when I just watch CGI effects fighting each other, I feel absolutely nothing. It's rare that I watch a CGI character and feel something for them. I think the last time is probably Abbott and Costello in Arrival, because I love those heptapods. But the thing that really is the worst is the writing in this film. So I actually wrote down a few lines and wanted to read them to you guys so that you knew how awful it really is. So the first one, Mark Wahlberg says to a young Hispanic girl, "It's okay to be a kid, little J-Lo." Yep, pretty bad. And then Mark Wahlberg again says to a Native American character who was in previous films, "You're really getting into this whole Indian thing, aren't you?" Yeah, once again, that's not offensive at all. And then the last one, I don't know who said it. Who cares, honestly? "My invitation to this ass whooping must have gotten lost in the mail." I mean, primo writing. They must have been really proud of themselves. Their parents must be proud. So, but I haven't even gotten to the fact that the female protagonist is first seen as a horrible driver. But it's okay because she's smart and a sexy art history professor. Awesome. Yet when Wahlberg meets her, he just starts making fun of how snooty she is, how British she is, how educated she is, because that's what you want to do, make fun of people who are well educated. Great writing, once again. Now, I'm not British, obviously, that's pretty clear, but I did live in England for a year, and I found myself getting upset by how hyperbolic the stereotypes were, and they just threw everyone in there that they could possibly think of. And that got me thinking, who is Bay actually making this movie for? I don't know anyone who leaves these movies thinking like, wow, that was a great movie, it was really entertaining, and I can't wait for the sequel. I don't know any of those people. Maybe some people might think, oh, it's cool to watch robots fighting or something like that. But no one thinks this is a great movie. So why do these films just keep getting made again and again and again? And it has to be for profit. These movies are making money. I'm not quite sure who's seeing them, but they are making money, and they're going to keep making the same film over and over again because it's making a profit. And I found myself actually missing Shia LaBeouf in the movie because he's crazy, and at least he might give us a moment that is kind of funny or entertaining or weird, but here we just have Mark Wahlberg and he seems to just trudge through his lines. I mean, if he was going for the most offensive, ignorant American in the country, well then I would say he nailed it. But I honestly don't think that people are like him. He's simply an archetype of the type of man that Bay thinks men want to see. But I don't know of any men who would want to be like this character. So between the product placement of the Mercedes logos and the Budweiser logos, which to me was just kind of a funny juxtaposition, to the overuse of the Dutch angle lens, this is one of the worst movies, if not the worst movie of the entire year. If anything, I'm glad I saw it so that I can put it on my 10 worst movies of the year for this year. And now for the grades. First, film and artistry. What a surprise. I would give Transformers: The Last Knight an F. This is everything that's wrong with cinema. It is borderline offensive and propagates every stereotype of every kind of person there is. And it's overly long on top of that. And then in terms of watchability, of course this is an F. This was an unwatchable film for me. I found myself constantly like checking things on my phone, looking things up on the internet. I couldn't watch it. It was really killing me, but I did. I watched every second of it, very, very painfully, but I did watch it. So this is really one of the worst films I've ever seen. And now we'll move on to the Blu-ray releases for October 31st, 2017. So this is a pretty slow week. There's only 2 major films that are coming out. First is The Dark Tower, which stars Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. This is based on the Stephen King series of novels. I've not read those novels. This film didn't do particularly well in the movie theater, and it didn't get the greatest reviews, but I'm still going to watch it because I really do like Stephen King adaptations, and I love Idris Elba. He's one of my favorite actors, and I usually will just watch anything that he's in. And then the second film coming out is Kidnapped, or Kidnap, I don't know, and it stars Halle Berry, and it's about a woman who will stop at nothing to get her child back who's been kidnapped. So it looks like a Taken, but for a woman. Don't really think I'll be watching that one, but thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Instead of watching a movie like Transformers, just watch something fun like The Avengers or Spider-Man. Like, those movies are good. They're fun. I like them. Watch something like that. Please don't watch this. So thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you like the video. And remember, it's always in style to stay home, get dressed up, and make it a cinema chic night. Bye, everyone.